Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Cycle 5858. I am Amish Cycle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
Tonight, the final countdown to 2026. Massive crowds gathering in Times Square right now with the NYPD on high alert. The entire force on duty with 1 million people expected for tonight's celebrations. Plus, security ramped up across the country. The National Guard deployed to New Orleans 1 year after an ISIS-inspired terror attack there. And cities around the world already ringing in the new year. Plus, the winter wallop. 20 million people now under storm alerts. Some areas bracing for as much as 3 feet of snow, and the new rain bringing a mudslide threat to California. We're tracking the New Year's forecast. The Justice Department scrambling to review and release millions more pages of the Epstein files. And what an 18-year-old Palm Beach. The Trump administration halting federal child care payments to Minnesota after new allegations of fraud. This at Somali-run daycare centers. The new comments from that state's Democratic governor and White House tonight. A second Patriot star now facing assault charges. What the team's coach just be on the offs. The same for Trump. Times Square.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
Peter out tonight for Tom. The most festive night of the year, but for law enforcement, it's also one of the most challenging.
Same day with all the breaking news of the day on Plus.
No brutal cold and tight security. 2026 just hours away, but the final moments of this year going out with snow and freezing temperatures from Minnesota to New York to Maine. Nearly 1 million people expected to pack into Times Square in the heart of Manhattan to watch the famous ball drop live on ABC. The crowd braving wind chills in the 20s, the coldest New Year's Eve in nearly a decade. Lee Goldberg timing this all out. Law enforcement on high alert across the country. Thousands of officers on duty in New York City, on the ground, in the air, and on the water for the famous ball drop in Times Square. In New Orleans, the National Guard deployed 1 year after the deadly terror attack in the French Quarter. Late today, the Trump administration revealing a new series of deadly strikes targeting 3 alleged drug boats. Military officials report multiple survivors jumped overboard. A search and rescue operation now underway. Tonight, a stunning move from the Department of Health and Human Services. New restrictions on billions of dollars in federal child care funds for every state in the U.S. What's behind this sudden move? The new requirements before the funds will be released. The New Year health crisis. More than 20 million Americans will see their health care costs double, triple, or possibly quadruple beginning tomorrow. For the second time this week, a player for the New England Patriots facing criminal charges. And coach Mike pressed about allegations involving both players. And the major change coming to the U.S. Postal Service, how it could affect what you drop in the mail, including your mail-in ballot for the midterm elections.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Hello and very good morning to you. This is Sky News. These are your latest headlines. Sellers also from around the world to mark the start of 2026. Also this morning, the Queen reveals she was the victim of just a teacher and lurked in her mind for many years. And fears for the Gaza after Israel tells nearly 40 humanitarian organisations they will be banned from operating there. Hello, very good morning to you. Thanks a lot for joining us here on Sky News. We go first to the city of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, which is one of the latest to welcome in 2026 on Copacabana Beach. A massive music and fireworks party is underway. New Year's Eve parties are a big deal in this part of the world. Let's take a quick minute to soak up the party atmosphere here in Rio.
Defending the intermediate military declaring the successful completion of live flight from Taiwan. Lawmakers of the legislative expects on the post-fire recovery work in Taiwan. Taiwanese President William Lai has vowed to defend the island and boost its defense in his second New Year address since taking office in May 2024. He also promised to strengthen the island's defense and the society's resilience while establishing effective deterrence capabilities. Mr. Lai said the world is paying attention to Taiwan to see if it has the determination to defend itself. The island's leader noted that the international community, including the US, Japan, Britain, and the EU, had demonstrated support to peace and stability in Taiwan and the Taiwan Strait. Mr. Lai's statements come a day after Chinese President Xi Jinping doubled down on his stance on Taiwan in his own New Year speech, asserting that reunification cannot be stopped.
两岸同胞血浓于水，祖国统一的历史。
On this Wednesday night, major water main break.
It was lots of water.
Calgary streets flooded and new concerns about crumbling infrastructure. The entire city on water again.
Because we know what to expect.
No break in the Russia-Ukraine war. New Year's Eve strikes and fading hope for a ceasefire in the new year.
Russia is simply not interested.
Brazen heist. How German thieves got away with millions in an historic Christmas bank heist. Plus, Canada's men's Olympic hockey roster.
I'm really excited to start this journey and get going.
The young stars and other surprises going for gold in Milan.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Chris Galis.
Good evening and thanks very much for joining us. New Year's Eve is feeling a little too much like Groundhog Day for many in Calgary tonight with the second catastrophic water main failure in just 2 years. Adam McVicker reports on the emergency response, citywide water rationing, and the close call for drivers caught up in it.
An aquatic rescue in the middle of a major Calgary roadway.
So we had water coming in. The water filled within a minute to the seats, and my wife was on the phone with 911, and we ended up going through the roof.
Eric Wisniewski, one of 13 people rescued from their vehicles with water rushing into the street after a critical city water line burst Tuesday night.
While the cars walking back and forth, it's unnerving.
And Wednesday morning, Calgarians' worst fears confirmed.
This is a catastrophic break along the same feeder main that broke in June 2024.
The line carries 60% of Calgary's drinking water. That rupture prompted a series of repairs and plunged the city into water use restrictions for much of the summer. Less than a year and a half later, Calgarians are being asked to do the same, with mandatory and voluntary restrictions citywide.
Please make your showers minutes. Flush toilets only when necessary. Run dishwashers and washing machines only when they're full. They sound like small things, they make a huge difference.
Tuesday's break forcing boil water orders across 3 city neighborhoods, impacting 2,000 homes and 100 businesses in the area.
No, this can't be. Not again. Sure enough, flipped over to citizens saw that isn't in fact the case.
So frustrating, and I'm so disappointed with this.
Frustrations the city's new mayor says he shares.
We have to fix the pipe, and until we completely replace the pipe, this is a ticking time bomb that Calgarians will continue to live with.
Early city estimates have repairs taking between 7 to 10 days, but that could change. And Calgarians aren't too confident in that timeline, with the 2024 break in the not-so-distant memory. Chris.
Adam McVicker in Calgary. Thanks, Adam. A Manitoba First Nation is in a state of emergency after being without power since Sunday. Pimichikamak, a community of nearly 3,000, is 700 kilometers north of Winnipeg and a 2-hour drive to Thompson, Manitoba. Manitoba Hydro says a downed power line in a remote area of challenging terrain has delayed repairs. A spokesman says power may be restored, but fear it's only too late for some venture in the community.
This is now a human safety issue, not just a power outage. The water tanks are frozen, the sewage tanks are frozen, and the water pumps are frozen. That means that the pipes will be frozen.
Africa News. The news.
British boxing star Anthony Joshua is spending a second night in hospital following a fatal road crash in Nigeria, as investigators point to speeding and a flat tire as key factors in the accident. Emerging reports indicate the driver may face prosecution for reckless driving. A source familiar with the investigation says findings show the vehicle was travelling at excessive speed and attempted a wrongful overtake, serious traffic offences that can carry criminal liability when deaths occur. Nigeria's road safety agency said preliminary checks revealed the car suffered a flat tire to a expressway. Daily and strength conditioning charges.
Sexual violence against children is endemic, systemic, and worsening across the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the United Nations Children's Agency said on Tuesday. Last year, UNICEF said eliminated Russian politics for a quarter of a Today, people around the world ring in 2026 with millions more to celebrate the new year in the coming hours. While Sydney strikes a sombre tone before its iconic harbour show. Two people have drowned and two others are missing after several incidents on Sydney waters. China announces new import tariffs on Australian beef. And flood warnings remain in place across regional Queensland after record-breaking rain. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Melissa McKay. Well, 2026 is being ushered in with spectacular celebrations right around the world. New Zealand was one of the first countries to reach midnight. Fireworks were launched from their tallest tower in the heart of Auckland. A few hours later, countries around Asia started to celebrate. China's annual New Year's Eve show is among the most watched broadcasts in the world. This year, it featured dancing robots, messages from the president, and well wishes from space.
Heaven and earth share the same age, and the whole nation celebrates together. Happy New Year.
The UAE farewelled 2025 with a record-breaking drone and fireworks show which lit up the skyline for 62 minutes. 2026 then made its way from the desert to the snow, reaching Europe. People in both Ukraine and Russia said they hope the new year brings peace and an end to the ongoing war.
On the eve of the holidays, we want to believe in something good, so we have to look for meaning. We have relatives who defend us, so we are waiting for them at home and want them to come back to us.
I wish for peace, both for the country and the whole world. That's the main thing I wish for, and also for plans to come true in a positive way.
In Paris, thousands lined the famous Champs-Élysées Boulevard to mark the occasion. The City of Love's iconic Arc de Triomphe shimmered as Parisians counted down the seconds to the new year, which was then picked up by Britons in London, where fireworks lit up the sky. And Brazil has welcomed 2026 with the mother of all beach parties. The celebration on Rio's famed Copacabana beach is one of the biggest New Year's Eve events on Earth, attracting an estimated 2.5 million people.
Well, back home, around 1 million people filled Sydney Harbour last night for a glimpse of the world-famous fireworks display. The Harbour Bridge glowed white an hour before midnight as the crowd held a minute's silence for the victims of the Bondi terror attack. Max Tillman reports.
Well,
For the special edition of Hannity, I'm Tommy Laren in for Sean. Goes in all child care payments to the state of Minnesota. This after a young independent journalist named Nick Shirley, armed with just an iPhone camera, captured what appears to be rampant fraud in plain sight. Somali-run child care centers funded with millions in tax dollars with the correct spelling of learning. Manager claims Shirley visited too early because children are only present at that facility between p.m. and 10 p.m. Watch.
Someone came to our building outside of operating hours. There's specific sign on our door that says our days and our hours. He came outside of those hours and then claimed, hey, they're closed and they're still making money. They're using taxpayer to work. And it's like, you don't come outside of operational hours and then say they use taxpayer money. That was completely false. We're open Mondays through Thursdays, 2 to 10 p.m.
According to a report from ABC News, this very same center was raided by the FBI in 2015 over fraud allegations. But somehow, under Governor Walz's not-so-watchful eye, the center remains open under a different name and continues to receive millions in taxpayer dollars. As of last year, there were over 60 active investigations into taxpayer-funded child care centers in Minnesota. And that's likely just the tip of the iceberg. In 2018, Fox 9 obtained surveillance footage showing families pretending to drop off children at a daycare center, signing in kids who never actually attended. And this should make your blood boil because this is your money. According to authorities, up to $9 billion of your money might have been stolen by members of the Somali community in Minnesota. Here now with reaction, attorney and Republican strategist Mahek Cook and Cross Lake, Minnesota Mayor Jackson Purfirst. Mayor, I want to go to you first. I know that you penned a strongly worded letter, 100 mayors or so signing on to that strongly worded letter, citing your concerns over the rampant fraud, the spending, all of this. How likely do you think it is that Governor Tim Walz heeds your letter? Because all I've seen from him
Thank you for watching Ahmed Shakil 5858. I am Ahmed Shakil. I hope you will visit again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.